Good morning, vinyl community. It's Phil from British Columbia, Canada again. Been a busy couple of days for me doing videos. I've got kind of a long one here today. This one is a little bit of a request from my friend Bernard at his channel is Hitchin a Ride, and he requested that I show him my collection of Status Quo albums. They're a band that he didn't know about until I put it in my top 50 groups, I think it was. And he inquired about what they're about, and I sent him a couple of albums, and he enjoyed them. They're not to everybody's taste. They're pretty simple three-chord boogie rock. No pretensions there. They just do what they do. They made it huge in England and Europe. They're just phenomenal over there. They headline acts. They were the opening act at Live Aid in England when that happened. And yeah, they're just an institution over there. Hundreds of thousands of people go to see them. Over here, they just never made it. It didn't catch on for whatever reason. It's funny how bands do that sometimes. I didn't know about this band until 1977, when an aunt and uncle and a couple of cousins of mine came over from England to visit us. And they were here for a month, and we were driving around one day in the rain on the way back from some tourist spot up the coast. And my cousins and my brothers and I in the car, my older brother driving. I didn't have a license at that time. I was still 15. But my cousin said he didn't like the radio stations we had, so we asked if we could play a tape. And he put it in, and it was this band I'd never heard of. It was great. It was just great driving music. And I asked who they were, and he says, I'll just give you the tape. I got lots of them at home. It's one of his homemade tapes that he recorded off albums. And I started searching in record stores in the lower mainland here, our area, and gradually found a few and ordered some online. And my cousins, when they came back a few years later, bought a couple more for me and sent me a couple for Christmas one year. So gradually I've caught up. This band started in 1962, and they were a psychedelic band. They did all the weird flower power stuff, and I never really got into that. They had one hit that made it here in North America, and that was Pictures of Matchstick Men. Classic rock stations will usually play it if they have a flower power hour or something like that. It's the only hit they had this side of the water. I didn't care for it. I have a couple of albums of theirs of that era, and I really, I got rid of them because I never play them. I don't like the music. I'm not going to ever play them. I just traded them in on other stuff. So what I've got is from 1972, when they ditched the paisley and the bell-bottoms and went to denim and t-shirts and long hair and started rocking out. That's what I've got from 72 up to 1986 is my list. I've got a couple after that from the 2000s that are on CD, but I didn't really care for the style then. A couple of members had changed and moved on, and they changed their style a little bit. I didn't really care for it. So, again, not to everybody's taste. If you don't like this band, just don't watch. Don't criticize. It's just, I like them. I really enjoy their music. So I've got about 21 or 22 albums here, Bernard. Stick with me. I'll try not to drone on too much about each one. So I don't want this to go forever, so I'm just going to get into this. The first one I've got is from 1972. This is a Canadian release of Pile Driver. This is their first real foray into the jeans and long hair and three-chord boogie music that they play, three-chord rock. And the biggest joke around these guys is, do they know a fourth chord? But it's a really good album. That's the back cover. If you can see that or not, it's probably not in focus. And the gatefold. Pictures of the band, the big gorilla there, and the lyrics inside. And this one, unfortunately, has a little bit of damage. You can see that it's got a little bit of tearing on the cover here, where I don't know what happened. Something got stuck on it, I think. And that's on it's Canadian, so that's on the A&M label. Nothing special. Very few of mine are Canadian versions. Most of them are imports because they're so hard to get over here. They didn't make it, so record stores don't stock them. Go back in. I'll do that one. The second album I've got is from 1973. This is also a Canadian version. And this album's called Hello. Pretty simple cover, black with the silhouette of the band. You can see that amongst the glare. Yeah. Back cover, again, nothing too fancy. Simple white sleeve, A&M label. Pretty basic Canadian release. Again, they're not going to spend a ton of money on production for a band that doesn't really sell well over here. Some of these albums are hard to find. Most of them you can pick up. Most of these older ones you can pick up at used record stores. They come in every once in a while. The third one is from 1974. This is simply called Quo. This one I actually sent to Bernard. This is one of my favorites. This is a great rocker, this one. And that cover. And again, this is a Canadian version. Simple white sleeve. Oh, it's got a lyric sheet inside. I forgot about that. But simple white sleeve and A&M label. But if you want to just put something on the turntable and just, you know, just headbang and just do your air guitar, this is great to do it to. This is simply a good rock and roll band. 1975. This is called On the Level. This is a UK release. This was not released over here. I found it in a record store over here, but it was labeled as an import. That's the front cover. And the back. Another gatefold. One side, lots of pictures of the band. And the other side of the gatefold, more pictures of the band. A lot of them on tour type photographs. This has lyrics on the inner sleeve, both sides. Because this is from England, they were on Vertigo. So this is on the really cool Spaceship label. You see that? I love that label, the Vertigo Spaceship. And we'll put that back. And the next one is going to be from 1978, I believe. Nope, pardon me, 1976. And that's their album called Blue for You. And this was and all of these albums were huge hits over the pond in England and Europe. Like I said, these bands just draw mega fans over there. This band does. They have at a castle over there, the Donington Castle, they have the Donington Monsters of Rock every year, and these guys were usually headlining it back in the 70s and 80s. So this is the album Blue for You. There's two versions of this. This is from 1976. This is a US release, and I sent you this one, Bernard. This is the US release of it. Just plain black sleeve. Picture of the band on the label. And this is the UK release. Actually, pardon me, no, this is a, this is a UK release. And this has this advertising inside for other albums. And funnily enough, for a UK release, it has a picture of Rush, All the World's a Stage on there, that they're promoting. I thought that was pretty cool. And this is just on a plain Vertigo label, no spaceship. Still more colorful than the boring Canadian A&M label. Still with me, Bernard? Are you falling asleep yet? Taking a break? You can pause this and come back anytime you like. This is going to take a little while here. Sorry to drone on. Nobody wants to hear my voice this long. From 1976. No, 77, pardon me. Double live album. I sent you this, Bernard. This is my German import copy. Bit of a different album cover from what the one I sent you is, but the inside gatefold is the same thing. It's a German album, but this was actually recorded live in the Glasgow Theatre in Scotland. A lot of pictures on the band on stage. And each sleeve has is double-sided, has a picture of the members of the band on it. Great, these sleeves are showing a little bit of wear and tear. And this is again on the Vertigo Spaceship label. You see that? Really cool labels. I like those ones. And the other label's just the same. I'm not going to bother taking it out. Seen one? You've seen them all, right? Yeah, put that away. Yeah, I found this in my local store, Crazy Bob's, friend of mine, and he said he saved it for me because he knew I liked the group. And he said, "Do you have this one?" And I said, "Oh, I do, but not an import, so I'll take that one." And because I know someone who would appreciate hearing the album that I can send to, and that was you, Bernard. My next one is 1977 as well. This is Rockin' All Over the World, and this is the song they opened with. That song they opened Live Aid with. It's probably their biggest hit. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was their biggest hit over there. But this is a Canadian version, and the song "Rockin' All Over the World" actually was written by John Fogerty of CCR. Back cover. This is a fun album. This is a good rocker. Just put this on and just play the air guitar and blast it away and just headbang. This is a really cool album. And Canadian. Oh, they switched to Capitol by this time. This is the Capitol label, the red one. But I love that album. That's sort of my go-to album of theirs if I want to just put one on and listen to it. Not a bad track on it, in my opinion. Again, they're not to everybody's taste. They're not the most sophisticated band around. Next one is called "If You Can't Stand the Heat," and this is from 1978. This is a UK version. This is on my favorite album covers video I did, and that's the tone arm down on the burning hot stove element. And I searched for years for this. I had all the other albums in my collection other than this one, and at the bottom of all their albums they show "From the Makers of," and they just show sort of an outline of all the covers of all their previous albums. And so for years I had all the other albums, the ones that came after this, and it was taunting me with the picture of this one, and I could never find it. And walked into one of my record stores one night, that was Apollo Music, and I just, for a goof, I looked up, okay, yeah, they got a Status Quo tab, I pulled it open there, and that's the first thing that stared at me. I said, I don't care what it costs, I gotta have this. I think it was like $50. This is a 78 UK import. Pretty cool gatefold. And it's, I don't know what, it's fate or karma or whatever it is, but a week after I found this, after searching for it for years, I walked in there again and they had another one. And then I went to a vinyl fair like a few months after that, and one of the vendors there had one. All of a sudden, now I've got it, it pops up every damn place. The inner sleeve, picture of the band, lyric sheet, information on the record, blah, 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 blah. And that again is on the Vertigo Spaceship album, or label, pardon me. I'm not going to show every label, I'm just, how many times do you need to see this label? It's all the same. Let's slide you back in your little home. But that's a really cool album too, I love that one. That was great to find that finally and get it off my want list. Oh yeah, I paid $15 for that. I'm 15 Canadian. I'm good with that. It finished the collection. I always wanted it. Next is from 1979. This is also a German release. This is a compilation. This is Whatever You Want. Front, back, and again, there's the pictures of all the albums that they've done, just sort of an outline of it from the makers of, which is really a cool idea, because if you're missing something, you can always go and Google it and say, hey, what am I missing? And what is that picture an album? What is that picture of? There's a sleeve picture of the band, and another spaceship. Most of these are on the Vertigo Spaceship, because most of them are imports. That was a fun find as well. That one I got at a local vinyl fair swap meet, whatever you call them in your area. Excuse me. And this one is, this is a Canadian version from 1980, a compilation, best of, nothing fancy, just a few songs from their, 8 songs from some of their earlier albums. Nothing special about that one. It's not a gatefold, it's just the A&M label. And also from 1980, this is a Dutch pressing of a greatest hits album. It's called 12 Gold Bars. I like that cover. That's really cool. I searched for years for this one too, and finally found it at one of our record swap meet things. And that's a Vertigo spaceship label as well. Gonna get a bit monotonous with those labels. Like I said, I'm not going to show them all. They're all more or less the same, right? Then we have from also 1980, this is a US compilation of sort of greatest hits thing. It's called Now Here's This. Front cover, back cover. I can't seem to get the camera to focus on the words there, but anyone can Google if they're really interested. This is not a gatefold, and this has, well, it's a US one, so this has got the, what is it, Riva label with the big lion on it. And I think that's, I'm not incorrect, I think that's the label that John Cougar records on, or recorded on when he started out. And yes, I still call him John Cougar. I refuse to go John Mellencamp or John Cougar Mellencamp. He was John Cougar when he started, he's John Cougar now. And then we go to another actual release, 1980. And this is a UK version, just supposing. And in the back of the, at this stage they had changed one of the members. One of the guitar players had dropped out, and they had a new guitar player, Andy Brown, I think his name was. And it's a Vertigo label, but it's not the spaceship. That's a UK version. And some of these are really hard to find over here. Most of these I got in England myself when I went there in '86 for a visit, see the families. We moved here to Canada from England in '66. I was 3 years old, and we still have, well, the relatives were dying off now. All I got left is a couple of cousins. My last uncle passed away recently, so just a couple of cousins, and I'm not really in touch with them anymore. So. But last time I went in '86, we went to what they call there a boot sale, which is out of the trunks of people's cars. And it's just a swap meet. They meet in a field and put up ropes around the outside and make aisles, and you just walk up and down and buy the stuff people have displayed in their trunk of their car, or the boot of the car, and it's all on the ground or in the trunk. And yeah, there were a few guys there who sold albums, and one guy had clearing out his Status Quo collection. I bought about 8 of them. This is from 1981. It's called Never Too Late, again, another UK release. And that made my favorite album cover video as well. I just love that. The picture of the ICBM headed to Earth being grabbed by a hand. And the back cover. So and again, same thing. You see the silhouettes of all the albums before. And this is probably, yeah, this lyric sheet on the inside on the sleeve, but that's another Vertigo spaceship label. And we're getting there. We're over halfway. Don't worry about it. I'm going to keep this under 30 minutes. And the next one was from the makers of. This is a UK sort of greatest hits box set. And my cousin, one of my cousins, Alan from England, sent this over to me for Christmas or a birthday one year when this came out. And I just love this thing. It's got this covers all their eras from this even has some of their psychedelic stuff. Pictures of Matchstick Men, Ice in the Sun, Down the Dust Pipe, In My Chair, and then they get into the rocking stuff where they started change their style. And there's 3 of these because there's 3 albums. So it lists all the albums around outside that the hits are from, and what years they came from, and what song is on here from it. All sorts of information on the band in it. This is a really cool set. Bernard, I wish I could find another one of these because I'd love to send you this. This is just sort of a be-all and end-all of the band. Up to like what did I say? This was 82. This is really cool. So it's a 3 album set. 6 full sides. This is on a plain black label. But yeah, that's really cool. 3 album set. I I love this set. I played that to death. And unfortunately, you can see I didn't have a sleeve big enough to put over it. Anybody knows where I can get outer sleeves to cover box sets? That would be really interesting. I've seen them for gatefolds, but I've never seen ones big enough to actually hold a box set. I would love to find something like that. If anyone knows anyone who makes it, please let me know. Then we get to 1982, which was their 20th year, and 1982 adds up to 20. And this one as well has a little bit of a tear on the front cover. If you can see there or not, some of the finish came off it. And down here, there's sort of an embossed triangle with a double X on it. And this is a UK version as well. Inner sleeve lyrics. Vertigo, non-spaceship. That's a good album, but it was a little bit of a departure because of the new member. They sort of they didn't change their style, but they did learn a fourth chord eventually. I remember one rock magazine I saw it and said, "Gasp! Status Quo learns fourth chord. Earth ending soon." I wish I had that. So God, that was funny. And this is from 1983. This is a UK compilation, To Be or Not to Be. And again, it's got a little bit of a thing. I don't know what happened to some of these albums. I think I had some water issues or something once, but some moisture or something got in there and they stuck together. Shot of the band. And this, like I said, is a UK compilation. Plain red vertical label, nothing special on that. Actually, it's a Polydor label, so Polydor. They seem to have albums on a bunch of different labels. This next one from 1983 was called Back to Back, and this one rocks. Bernard, I wish I could find a second copy of this. I'm not sending you this one because that's the only one I got. But if I ever find another one of these, I will send it to you. This album is a rocker. Back to Back. Back shot of the cover. That is a really cool album. They really kick out the jams here. And this one's got a little bit of a advertising sheet in for their fan club. And the inner sleeve lyrics. And this is Vertigo, but they've changed the label for this issue. They've just got the outline of the semi-truck that's on the front cover on both sides. So they changed their presentation a little bit with this one. But that is a good album. Like I said, you just want to put something on and just play air guitar or whatever and just bang your head. This is a go-to one for them. Sorry. The covers, the jacket's split a little bit. It got hung up there. I got to re-glue that one. I'll leave that one out and re-glue that. From 1986, in the Army, you'll notice there was like a three-year hiatus there where they sort of regrouped and revamped. These guys were all strung out on drugs and alcohol. They were just hopelessly almost broke, and it's just, you know, they have a autobiography called All Access or Excess, Excess, All Areas, and it's just sad to read out. They had all this money and just pissed it away and snorted it away. The quintessential rockers gone bad sort of thing. But this is a really cool album. See the Iwo Jima take of it there. Inner sleeve with a picture of the band. I don't know how these guys held it together for so long. They were doing so much weird shit off the stage. There's the A side of the label. Sort of a silhouette of the front cover, and there's the B with listing both sides of the tracks. And I actually hadn't heard of this album. I was in one of my local pubs one day, and a guy, I was wearing a Status Quo t-shirt, and I'm sitting at the bar up behind the rail, up behind my friend the DJ there. DJ twice a week. And the guy, this big guy, huge, across the bar, big long hair, biker, hippie looking type guy, with a beard and long blonde hair, is eyeballing me. I can see him. I says, what the hell's going on here? And he gets up and comes over, and he says, cool shirt, man. It was just a white one with Status Quo and an older picture of the band on it. I guess with the lights on the DJ, it shone on the shirt behind me, and it caught his eye. And he pulled open his jean jacket, and he had the same shirt on. And he says, wow. And we sat and talked for a couple of hours about these guys. And he says, have you got this album? Have you got that album? Have you got that album? And I said, I'd never even heard of this one. He says, Zulu Records, which is an independent record store downtown Vancouver. He says, they got them. Phone them, tell them to put one on hold, go to get it. It's a really great album. And we went to his car, and he played me a couple of songs on a tape from it. And I said, oh yeah, I got to get this. So I went down and got that one. That is cool. Now I've got two left, and these are both 12-inch singles. And this is from 1980s, but they're both from 1986. And that's Rollin' Home. That's a really cool song. And on the other side, it's got two songs, Lonely and Keep Me Guessing. But Rollin' Home is a fantastic song. Well, I've got to get an inner liner for that. Doesn't have one. That's just a plain blue label. But that's the English release as well. They didn't put it out over here. Most of it they didn't put out over here. And the last one, this is 12-inch. 12-inch. This is what do you call it? The EP or 12-inch single? I don't know. It's got three songs. It's got Dreamin' and Long-Legged Girls on the A side, which are really both cool songs. And then they got a mix, what they call their Christmas cake mix, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs all mixed together, sort of a blend of them. They just sort of play a bit of each and blend them all together. And that is really cool as well. Again, the winter sleeve, just a plain gray label. But yeah, that's my collection. Other than, like I said, I had a few of the earlier ones of psychedelic hits, and I never got into that stuff. Just didn't enjoy it, so I didn't bother with it. I collected them because I didn't know what they were, and then I listened to them. Yeah, you know, I prefer their rocker era. And yeah, and I've heard a couple of their albums. Like I said, I got a couple on CD from newer era, from the 80s, or pardon me, from the 90s and 2000s, and not really to my taste. Their writing went downhill, and the production's okay, but the writing went downhill. The playing wasn't up to what I expected, and they just sort of changed the style again. I didn't care for it. So I'm still under 30 minutes. Yes, I am. Bernard, if you're still with me, thank you for sticking with me. Hope I didn't bore anybody else. Again, not everybody's cup of tea, this band. But that's what it is. So yeah, Bernard, if you got any other bands you want to hear I sent you a list of what I had, I think. Any other bands you're not familiar with you want me to showcase or send you something of, let me know and I'll get on that. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, everyone, and take care, and we'll see you again.